and Remedies was an inspirational experience. I was able to be exposed to so many cultures. I think that it's really hard to leave this conference without learning something. And I think that I really learned what the true meaning of family is.
One thing that I really have been sitting with, and especially last night, was how the drums came in. We started with the drum, we ended with drums last night from all these different nations and communities of color that brought their drums. And that drum is about the heartbeat and connection.
We're awake.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. My name is Shashisha. I come from the Dene Nation. A lot of people know as the Navajo Nation. I have been part of Roots and Remedies since its beginnings, you know, and it was just a thought, and it was an idea, it was a seed. And I mentioned at this gathering that it was so wonderful to see many natives here, Native Americans and indigenous people here. Because in that first gathering, I think there was like about maybe 4 of us, you know. We all looked at each other like, hey.
And I'm gonna speak the truth. If there's accountability that has to happen, let's do it with each other. In these rooms here. Let's create safe space to do that.
The arts, the music, the dance, the connection to even local folks. You know, and that's one thing that I have admired with Roots and Remedies, is that anywhere we go, everywhere we went to, we always brought the local organizers and organizations to be a part of it. We've always brought those cultures, those dances, those songs, and the people that are around there to be a part of it. And it is important, it is key. It's if we don't have that, it's like we're walking around with an empty soul. Down in South and Central America, they call it encuentro, you know, and this was definitely one of those encuentros that is dear to my heart, and I will always dedicate myself in time to create those sacred spaces within Roots and Remedies.
Honoring the ways that they learn and how they learn.
Having the right dictionary shouldn't be your basis for engaging in social justice. So but at the same time, it does. Being able to bridge those communication barriers are so important. So getting us in the same room is to me, a tremendous start. It's a tremendous beginning.
At home in a better condition than we found it.
I haven't seen such a cross section of all of these different struggles in the same room and on the same discussion panel. The fact that there's so many different organizations that I see actually walking into the communities speaks a lot for the priorities of the Praxis group, so I appreciate that.
The word about Roots and Remedies has gotten out, and I think that it means that more and more people from more and more parts of the country are seeing the value in it and really coming to share their experiences and really to find ways to not only work together with other organizations, but find those common issues and surface those common issues that communities are facing all across the country.
We all had our differences, we all come from different struggles, and we were able to sit and discuss and have discourse around controversial topics, around basically ways of improving the material conditions of people of color.
The reason why I think Roots and Remedies was so important was a lot of networking was done, right? So like me, somebody from Baltimore can talk to somebody in California about gun violence, and then from there we can talk to somebody in Georgia, we can talk to somebody in Mexico, and now gun violence is getting solved on a grander scale. You know, this idea of networking and this idea that you're not the only person suffering from problems, right? There are different places that deal with the same problems, and if we can address those problems together, that's like mad change, like that's mad powerful.
We were able to network with each other and network with funders, which is a really big thing. Finding money to meet each other, getting the resources that we need to connect with each other. And I feel like Roots and Remedies provided that for us.
Their voices be at the forefront of everything that
It brings together a wide diversity of organizations, not just, it's not like an organization bringing its chapters together, but really bringing, different networks together, and I think that's the real strength of it. And I know that it's gonna continue in that vein.
Culture Night was amazing because we had people from so many different backgrounds from all over the nation come together and perform and show what their culture is really about.
One of the things that came up in my sessions here at Roots and Remedies was really seeing the different cultures that were here, to seeing the different aspects of art that was also integrated into the work that we're doing.
For those of you that have been to Roots and Remedies conferences in the past, you know we always have a piece of artwork. What we've decided to do this year is we're going to take our thoughts and our wishes, and we've hired a graphic artist. She's going to create a piece that we're going to hang up on Sunday that's going to reflect all of the contributions that you guys are making through your voices.
The question was, how do we heal, resist, survive, and build power to thrive in our work, was the first question. And
it wasn't just talking heads. People were just engaged and brought their ways of connecting to the mind, body, and spirit. And I think in a lot of ways, some of these gatherings, it's all stimulating the mind, when in fact, all of our senses need to be stimulated.
Say food, you say heals, food, 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 heals.
I'm Lucia Lin, and I work at the Chinese Progressive Association in San Francisco. We really, in the host committee, I think, wanted to ensure, especially as we opened up the space with the tours across the Bay Area, be able to give participants an idea of what the types of work that we do in the Bay Area and the breadth and the depth of the work that we do in our communities, across immigrant communities and across communities of color. A lot of the conversations that we've had in Roots and Remedies so far are really supporting us to build and exchange, to be stronger in this moment. Some of the things that we've been talking about over the course of this weekend have been about how, particularly in this political climate, that many of the systems of oppression that our communities face are not necessarily different, right? We understand the many things that our people face and the many ways that our organizations support and organize and educate, right, our people to fight those systems and also to build power for themselves. And it's very exciting to be able to do that with organizers that we know and to check in right from across the country and have many of those conversations through both the plenary sessions and the workshops.
Together, we'll make it together. We'll make our way through.
And so as we are doing this work in our communities, there is that line of us needing to break those lines that were built around us and those barriers that we tend to create when we say that there's the women's movement here, there's the youth movement here, there's the EJ movement here, there's this movement, when in fact we're all one big movement.
We were really able to connect with people, and you know, I feel like something's gonna happen. Something good's gonna happen from this, whether people like it or not.